to report.
Ms. Magallanes,
Yes, Ms. Gallanes had to leave on a personal matter, and she left during closed session at about 5:45, actually.
G, presentations, number 1, Calexico. Mr. Jimenez, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Contreras and Board of Trustees and ladies and gentlemen of our audience, staff. It's my honor and privilege today to bring to our community a presentation from Calexico High School, the Mighty Bulldogs. And so today we're honored to have here community members, students, parents, and staff from Calexico High School that are going to talk to us about a lot of the great work that's taking place in Calexico High School. So at this time, it's my honor to present our principal, our fearless leader over there, Mr. John Moreno. Mr. Moreno.
Thank you, Superintendent Jimenez and members of the Board of Trustees, members of the public, students, parents. I'm very privileged to be here today because Calexico High School is my school. It's a lot of people's school. And I would be remiss if I didn't introduce my JV football coach, who is here to honor his granddaughter today. And I want Coach Judson Hickman to stand up. He's not part of the presentation, but not only did he teach us football fundamentals and football tactics, he taught us how to be mean.
Nice.
And that is what we need on a football field. Anyway, my name is John Moreno, but legally I'm Juan Moreno, so that's why it says Juan, because this is all legal. I'd like to introduce my team. At the CHS 9th grade, we have Ms. Alejandra Alvarez Madueña, assistant principal. We have Mr. Mariano Velez III, he's the dean of students. At our main campus, we have Ms. Zulma Rioseco, who is the assistant principal. We have Ms. Delia Tovar, assistant principal. And Mr. Francisco Arriola, assistant principal. And our coordinator for academics and instruction, Ms. Corina Tavares. I try to impress upon them, like myself, to be visible, to be available, and to be approachable. And we are in the classrooms, we are in the hallways, we are in the lunchrooms, we are in the gyms, we are in the football fields, we're in the baseball fields, and the tennis courts, everywhere on those 45 acres that is Calexico High School, except in the construction area. We'll get to that later. I want to start by letting you know and letting the public know that we were WASC accredited last April. This letter came, I believe, in late June. And I'm proud to say that we had 2 staff members who led our brigade on getting the accreditation, and that's Diego Talamantes and Mr. Larry Steinmetz. And throughout the year last year, we met in groups. And if we're not accredited, for those that may not know, we would not be able to send our students on to college, and the diploma would be just a piece of paper. So we like to take pride in this accreditation, which lasts till June 30th of 2030. Wow, 2030. And then our mid-cycle visit will be in 26, 27, in a couple of years. I briefly want to go over some of the strengths from 2021, because we have to keep these also, not only in the back burner, but in our minds to say, okay, these are some of our strengths that we had. I think we had a little bit of a transition change, but we want to increase the elective courses for our high student interest. We're doing that. We constantly look at better ways and courses to offer. Our AST model of instructional support, we've kind of modified that this year with coaches that teach and also coach at the same time. Parent communication, a vital part of any successful school, is having the parents given the information in a timely manner. Instructional strategies that emphasize student voice and participation. Evidence of AVID strategies across the board. AVID being AVID via individual determination. Number 6 is a variety of extra and co-curricular activities and programs to promote student engagement. We've added more athletics, more clubs on campus. Number 7, students are exposed to and participate in real-world experiences related to instructional programs, and those can be through either CTE or any other courses that we offer in our school. And then increase access to main campus and elective courses for our freshmen. Our areas of focus that were given to us by the accreditation committee was to provide a system of layered support leadership in which staff have identified ways to provide input. And we do that through meetings, through department meetings, through PLCs, which is professional and learning community meetings, where we look at data, we look at ways to improve instruction. And this is the second one. The second bullet is through the PLC process, create a systematic approach of data analysis. And we're working closely with the consultation group of Orenda to kind of guide us through that process. We're also considering a school-wide system for academic intervention structures, and you'll see a lot of that as we move forward in the presentation, providing that support for students that need help in their classes and SBAC testing and reclassification in their language labs. I've got a few slides on data. I'm a little nervous, so if I stutter, it's because I'm nervous. Janet doesn't believe me, but I'm a little nervous, Janet. I never met a Mike I didn't like. Here are the goals to increase student achievement. What you're looking at the top is you're looking at the green. The green means that they're at grade level or above. The green with the lines across means that it's the highest point, and that's where we want to get to. Now, this is the beginning of the year last year, and you'll notice that the red is a pretty large line, and those are 2 or 3 levels behind grade level. The yellow is one grade level behind. So that was in 23-24 at the beginning of the year. The bottom one is the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, I'm sorry, last year. So you've seen that the greens and the yellows have kind of enlarged and kind of grown, and we had 301 at the beginning of the year, 12% that were mid or above grade level, and at the end of the year, we had 20%, which is 510. So we had an increase of 209 students. That shows growth, but we want to get more growth. We want to look at more students being able to move forward on their English Language Arts I-Ready, okay? This is the next one. This is the ELA I-Ready, but this is beginning of the year last year and beginning of the year this year. So you look at 23-24 up on top and then 24-25 at the bottom. We have at the beginning, we've shown growth even at the beginning with an increase of 75 students who are at grade level or above. So we're looking at the green bars with the lines, which is where we want to get to more students, and then the green bar itself, which is at grade level. So you'll notice that the red line is shrinking, and so we want to move away from that. This is the Lexiles that we have for 24-25. A Lexile is a scientific approach to both reading ability and the text complexity of reading materials. This came from our I-Ready data. And if you notice at grade 9, we want them to be at 1,050, grade 10, 1,095, and then in 11 and 12, it's at 1,140. We looked at our students that were tested for this year in I-Ready. We had 610 in 9th grade, 505 in 10th, 585 11th, and 558 in 12th. And what we've seen as the students progress in high school, the percentages also go up because their Lexiles are going up. So we're basing it on 1,000 Lexile. So we're looking at 9th grade had more than 10th grade, but nonetheless, you go down to the higher levels of 11th and 12th, and you get the 348 and 351 students, which is approximately half or a little more than half, as you can tell by the percentages there. So that is our I-Ready data. And I'd like to turn the microphone over to our coordinator for academics and instruction, Ms. Karina Tabares. I'll come back a little later to share some more.
Good evening, honorable board members and district leaders, students, parents, staff, community members. It's a pleasure to be here this evening to share some of our school's academic data. What we see projected are our English scores for 2023 and 2024. In 2023, we tested 676 juniors. 48% of those students met or exceeded the standard. That year, Calexico High School did exceed the state average, which we were very proud of. In 2024, we tested 703 of our students, and our percentage proficient was 46%. Not that 48, nonetheless, it was still the highest percentage in the district, and we're very proud of that number because it represents a team effort, right? Because these juniors have been with us not only since 9th, 10th, 11th grade, but also in our junior highs and in our elementary schools. So we're very proud of that 46, and we look forward to seeing it keep going higher. Is it this one?
No, this one right here.
These are our mathematics results for the SBAC 2023 and 2024. Nobody was more surprised than our math team to see these scores. I can tell you that in the 2 going on 3 years that I've been at Calexico High School, I've seen the growth of our math teachers and their effort to growth as professionals in their teams. On October 16th, we had our first DRS session of this school year for Unit 1. We met at Calexico High School Library. It was Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2. And I was really proud of their conversations because we can see that they're heading in the right direction. They were talking about the upcoming unit test and what activities they're planning. They were going into Elevation, which is a platform that houses all of our English learners' information. So they were seeing, okay, who are my newcomers, who's been here for just 2 years, who are my long-term English learners? And it was really exciting to hear them talk about academic progress that way. So we know we're committed to having more of our students meet or exceed the standards in mathematics. I want to share with you our Math Center pictures. These pictures are from last year. These pictures were shared late in the evening by Mrs. Palacios, who's one of our math teachers. She's actually our department chair. And she said, the kids don't want to leave. It's time to leave, but they don't want to leave. So we're really excited. You'll find that at our high school students are really busy students. You know, after school, they have Sparks, they have sports, they have band performances, they have their own things to tend to. Some of them have jobs. So whenever we can keep students engaged in something academic and safe with our teachers and in school, working on academic endeavors, we find that really exciting. The Math Center is up for approval tonight. We hope that you'll approve it again. We had it at the 9th CHS 9 and at main campus 3 times a week with our teachers. And yes, we're also gonna have a math night side note. But yes, thank you for your support with the Math Center. This next slide shows our 2023 science results and our 2024 results. Science managed to maintain their proficiency level. This is the first year that science is participating in the DRS process, science and history. And the interesting thing to me when I looked at this data is that 66% of students who nearly met the standard. So that deserves a closer look by our science team to see what we can do to adjust our instruction to help more of our students jump over into the met or exceeded bands. Moving on to our AP data. This school year, 2024-2025, we have 663 students enrolled in an AP class. So that means that 663 represents a student who is maybe enrolled in art history and AP stats. They can be enrolled in multiple classes. If you look at the lower part, you can see the 16 courses that we have available to our students. Actually, this year we didn't offer AP biology because we didn't have enough applicants to open the section. We hope to bring it back next year. So this year we have 15 sections. If you look at the blue bars, that represents a 5-year history of our students who passed the AP exams with a 3 or better, 3 or higher, which is what's required to pass. And we see that the bars are trending upward the way that we like them, the way we like to see them. If we look at 2020, that was the year of the pandemic, so we kind of took a dip after that. But we're back to pre-pandemic numbers. If you look at this very last column that says 2024, last school year we had a total of 430 AP students who took 832 exams. And 309 of those students passed with a 3 or better, 71%. Really proud of those students because those are really rigorous exams. They take place every May, the first 2 weeks of May, and it'll happen again this year. This is our first look at our AP Scholars for the year. We have an increase of 7 students this year compared to last year. These students took their test last year as juniors. They are current seniors on our campus. And these represent the top of the top. I mean, kids can take an AP test, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to pass it. We start at the top with our Scholars with Distinction. And these students, if they'll just allow me to find my place, I flipped too far. Our Scholars with Distinction, they scored at least 3.5 on all AP exams taken, and they scored a 3 or higher on 5 or more exams. And these students are probably going to take more AP tests in May. In the middle, we have AP Scholars with Honors, and these students scored at least a 3.25 on all their exams, and 3 or higher on 4 or more of those exams. And at the bottom, we have our students who scored 3 or higher on 3 or more AP exams. Again, a total of 23 scholars this year. We hope that next year we have even more. And we did invite them. Our scholars and their parents are so super proud of them. Not all of them could come. We have volleyball senior night, so I know at least a couple of them are over there. But if we can please take time to acknowledge our scholars and their parents. Padres, thank you for your support. Gracias por su apoyo, por ustedes. Tienen los hijos que tienen. Y, we're really proud of you. Thank you for coming. If you can stand up. We can take a picture. Yay. You guys, don't leave so we can take a picture when we're done. Yes. So these are Calexico High School's instructional focus areas for the year. In the yellow box, you're going to see the information that we already reviewed, our SBAC scores, results for English, math, and for science, and also the number of students who are in the nearly met, the percentage of students who are in the nearly met categories. But we have some more data for Calexico High School. This is real-time data that we obtained from the Elevation website. We have 1,203 English learners at Calexico High School, 9 through 12. That equates to about 300 or so English learners per grade level. Of those 1,203 students, 447 of them are long-term English learners. So these are students who have been classified as ELs for 6 years or longer. And the special thing about our LTALs is that they are not at English 0. You know, they have language. And so we focus special attention on them to get them to meet the standards to be reclassified. And we have different staff to support them. 419 students are English learners level 1, which is beginning. And of those students, I think it's 81 students that are newcomers, 9 through 12. Year 1, sitting at CHS 9 and at main campus. According to the LPAC, our areas of greatest need are reading and speaking for our English learners. So again, that's a focus that we have. That's what we want to see our students doing when we walk into our classrooms at Calexico High School. Our instructional focus areas, our avid goal school-wide is text annotation. So we want to see students reading text and writing in the margins and circling key vocabulary and things of that nature. That goes hand in hand with our Wicker goal, student engagement strategies. And if you're not familiar with Wicker, that's writing, inquiry, collaboration, organization, reading. These are all things that we want to see students doing. We want to see students doing the work and teachers supporting them so that they're not just, vessels listening to information. Structured collaboration opportunities so that students have a chance to talk to each other and make meaning for themselves. And then use of academic language, which go hand in hand with each other. Those are our school-wide goals, and that's what we look for when we visit our classrooms. This year, we're very lucky to have our 2 academic coaches, our ITICs, Melissa Gamboa and Karina Ortiz. Ms. Gamboa has a math background, Ms. Ortiz has an English language arts background, and both are very well-versed in AVID. They couldn't be with us tonight, but they shared what they do with our teachers. They support our teachers, 9th through 12th grade. They're coming from our junior high, so they're, getting their feet wet and getting to know our over 100 teachers. But they offer demonstration lessons to our staff. They can do data chats with our teachers to discuss, their student data. They do learning walks with each other and with us. the curriculum plan, and this is on top of the 2 sections. Each of them teaches 2 sections to our language and content, to our English learners. Besides their coaching work, they can co-teach, and they are well-versed in digital learning programs, and they support our teachers when they need help in those areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barres, from the Chocolate Mountains to the Sea of Cortez. This is our newcomers as we're looking at she was alluding to LTELs and ELs and our students that need that extra support in the English language. So this year we had 20 newcomers at CHS9 and 61 newcomers at our main campus, a total of 81 newcomers. And we want to get them affiliated. We want to get them engaged. We want to reach out to them and make sure that they feel part of Calexico High School. So recently we had a Bienvenidos Bulldogs. And so they gave them math, they gave them a tour of the school, they talked about a grade point average, counseling strategies. They talked about a lot of things, but you know, getting involved in your school is big. You know, you can go to school from 8 to 3, but getting involved in extracurriculars is always, you know, what we want. We want them to become affiliated. So Mr. Martinez, our ASB advisor, had a little session with them and provided that opportunity for them to get involved. This is some of the data that we have just recently on our ELs. So if you look at the English learners, which is the red one in the middle, and that was a 43%, or almost half of a little under almost half of our students are English learners, but we have reclassified 46% of them. So within the last 6 months, 12 months, a lot of them have come to the other level, and when they do that, they don't have to take the language and content class. Now they can take an elective that they of course that they prefer. Could be in CTE, could be in any other area, but it opens their course selection. And the criteria for reclassification is parent consultation. They've got to get certain scores on the SBAC. And it goes up as they get up in 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. They also have to have a C- or better in their classes, and then of course a summative LPAC score of 4. We've been trying to get them, those that are on the cusp. We hold SSTs so we can talk about these things. We can talk about the opportunities that they have if they try just a little harder to go to the next band. We've consulted, we've partnered with our consultation group, the Orenda, and we meet with them periodically. We've included our social science, we've included our science in addition to English and math, and we look at our data reflection, which is a DRS. When you hear DRS, it's data reflection, and we have our guidance alignment, which aligns to standards, and looking at modifying their curriculum to the standards, and so that allows us for our students to be more successful in their classes. That allows the teachers to collaborate and work together and kind of be on the same page in many areas. We had last year a growth in our graduation rate. It went from 87 to 97. Of 643 students, 629 graduated. And to quote a famous superintendent, "Sí se pudo." And we're very proud of that. That number has gotten up there. And these are some of the goals that we want to increase student achievement. We have in-school and after-school credit recovery. We have the Bulldog Language Lab, which is Monday through Thursday. There's extra language support and practice for our ELs. We have AmeriCorps tutors, 9 of them supporting ELs in the classroom throughout the day. And we have 2 at the 9th grade and 7 at the high school main campus. We have ELITs that are closely monitoring our EL reclassification, Ms. Jessica Grijalva and Ms. Gisela de la O. We have our math center at CHS9 and a main campus, which begun in October, 3 times a week. We have also curricular alignment with DRS for our teachers. We also have English, science, social science support centers to begin in November, 3 times a week. AP academies in our 2nd semester, and there was the SSTs that I was referring to for our ELs to reach reclassification, an idea brought to us by Noemi Esquer, who's probably at the volleyball game watching her daughter. We also have SBAC academies in English, math, and science in our 2nd semester, and recognition assemblies for those that have met or exceeded the grade level in SBAC. And this picture is a picture of why apply. This is our Cal. Was it used? No, it was Cal State, right? We did both. Yeah, it was Cal State. We had a lot more students apply. They came into the gym and they started going online for their applications for Cal State universities. We just recently had one for UC campuses. And I'd like to introduce the illustrious Ms. Rioseco to provide us with PBIS. And you can just press this one here.
Board members, I wanted to add one more thing before Ms. Rioseco takes the mic. I wanted to invite you. We have 4 more DRS sessions this school year. I think our next ones are end of November, beginning December. But we have units 2, 3, 4, and 5. I invite you to drop by so you can listen to the conversations and to see the work that our teachers are doing. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board, Mr. Jimenez, colleagues, and community members, and other staff members there. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today and share a little bit of the progress that we have made with PBIS. This is our 2nd year, and we're calling it a rollout year for Calexico High School. This year, we introduced PBIS to the entire staff during a welcome back meeting. We introduced the focus, and we also provided teachers with strategies and tools to support positive behaviors in the classroom. We emphasize the importance of being consistent with behavioral expectations so that students receive the same message. And I believe we were able to do that in a surface during our first staff meeting, welcome back meeting. Then we roll out PBIS with the students. We asked ASB students to provide an explanation and introduce our RAD motto for the high school, which is respect, accountable, and determined. I know that it was not an easy task for ASB students to introduce this, but I believe that we did it. You can see a picture over there in the left bottom corner. They incorporated somehow this respect, what is a bulldog, what it looks or what it needs to be, what is the expectation for every student at Calexico High School to be respectful, to be accountable, and to be determined. So thank you, ASB, for completing this task. Also, our department leads played a crucial role during our PBIS. Year 1 was the planning, and during the year 2, they introduced, let me click here. This is part of the department representatives. We have 21 members in PBIS and MTSS. We combine them both, and every department has a representative. So every time if they have a question, if they need to learn more, they know who to call, where to go. They took the lead in presenting the purpose, the reason, mission, and vision of PBIS during our first PLC day, which happened this month. The goal was to ensure that every department was aligned in promoting PBIS with their own classes, making it a school-wide effort. This is the other half of the team. Moving forward, we know that this is a long-term commitment for our school, and we have plans to keep building in our progress. We will continue to provide ongoing training for staff, monitor data to see how and if PBIS is impacting our student behavior, and work to engage families and the community in supporting PBIS at Calexico High School. I feel, and I've seen it at Discipline Office, that we're seeing a positive change in our school culture with our students, with our staff, and we know that with continued effort and consistency, we can continue moving forward and to create a safer and more supportive environment for all the students. Part of our rollout year is also to make visuals to have representation of what it is for everyone, for parents, the staff, and the community. So we just ordered this banners right here, stickers, and we want to promote in a positive way how to become a respectful student, how to become an accountable student and determined student. And those are our expectations for Calexico High School students. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Alvarez-Maldeña.
Good evening, board members, Mr. Jimenez, Mr. Gutierrez, parents, teachers, staff members, colleagues. It's a pleasure to be here. And as we all should know, attendance matters, very much so. We are very dedicated and show fidelity to our district-wide motto, which is attend today, achieve tomorrow, don't let absences add up. So at CHS, sorry, the middle, okay, there we go. At CHS, we are promoting the why, the what, and the how. Why do we promote excellent attendance? We are asking our teachers, and they're super helpful at our site, to promote the why with our students. Every day, why is it important for them to be there? What is it that improves on students, which is their achievement, the engagement, they connect with their teachers, they connect with admins, with staff members. It is important to educate our students and our parents. What is it that we're doing? Well, we have our teacher support, our admin support, our district support, students promoting against, like, within each other. We have excellent attendance. We're working on it. We are currently planning our attendance groups with our counselors, so we are starting next month. So counselors are going to be pulling out students that are at risk, letting them know what is it that they need, why is attendance such an important factor in their education. So we are working since last year. That was my first year as an admin, the attendance campaign, which is a golden ticket. So students are giving a golden ticket every 2 weeks if they show perfect attendance. Attendance counts as being present in school for the whole day, not half days or just 3 periods. It needs to be half day, the whole day, I'm sorry. If students attend a half day, they don't get a reward. Clearing detentions through perfect attendance. For example, students that owe several detentions, if they attend if they have perfect attendance, they will get a ticket, and then they're able to clear 10 absences for their perfect attendance within the 2 weeks. So we are promoting it. We're working hard on it. We implement the campaign bi-weekly with the golden ticket. We have stickers, we have banners for students to know the importance. Then we have a mid-year drawing and then an end of the year drawing. So no tardies, no absences. Report here on the bottom. We're showing from September 2nd to October 11th that CHS has a total of 213 students with perfect attendance, which is approximately, well, it was on the, no, this is Mr. Arrela. That's Mr. Arrela. We don't have a graph, but we do have 213 students that show perfect attendance, which is approximately 10% from our total population, but is a start, and we're working towards to get those 500 students per at least every month and a half. So we are promoting it to the fullest, and I want to thank my teachers. Some of them are here, because in the classroom it's happening. They are letting our students know that it is very important to attend school. They can gain that instruction that they're losing if they're tardy or if they're absent for 2 or 3 periods. So we are working hard on it.
Good evening. My name is Francisco Arrela. I'm the new member of the team, not the new member at the district, but the new member at Calexico High School's administrative team. I'm partially in charge of attendance and SSTs at Calexico High School. One of the promotions we're trying to do is make it a positive thing for promoting our students to come to school. As the slogan says, 90% of success is showing up. And that's what we implement, and that's part of our PBIS too. It's something that we're trying to show students that show up, and not just show up, but show up on time. Our data this year hasn't reflect that. We took a little dip, but I don't know if you noticed the data that we did grow about 100 students. So that might be one of the issues that we took a little dip. We did grow in numbers. As you could see, in the 9th grade, we did drop 1.4%, but we did increase about, my eyesight's kind of bad, but we increased about 50 students. And at Calexico High School, we increased almost 100 students, which is, we took a 2.6 dip. The goal for the district and for Calexico High School for sure is 97%. We're getting there. We're working hard to do it. I myself am pulling in students that are constantly absent, constantly tardy. Counselors starting to pull in. Like I said, we're trying to make it an effort throughout the school, not just one individual doing it, but throughout the school and throughout the district, because I know this campaign's going out throughout the district. Kids are asking about the golden ticket, so it's working. They're getting used to it, and like I said, it's a positive reinforcement we're trying to give students to come to school and make it an initiative for the whole entire district.
Okay, increasing parent involvement, and I believe that is Ms. Delia Tovar. Yeah, give me your clicker.
Good evening, board members. Good evening, Mr. Jimenez. Sorry about that. So as you may have already heard, there are a lot of goals at Calexico High School. We are a very large school, and a lot of the goals that you have heard about tonight, such as academics, attendance, behavior, improving all of those areas. There's one more goal that I arguably would say is probably the most important role, and that is increasing parent involvement. I think many of us feel that increasing parent involvement perhaps is the most important because parents play a pivotal role in us achieving the rest of the goals that we work toward at Calexico High School. It is parents that, support us at home to ensure that students are succeeding academically, that they are making it to school on time, that homework is or assignments are being completed, and so on and so forth. So this list shows you a little bit of what we have been doing, and also a little bit of what we plan on doing in the near future at Calexico High School to improve on this. Remind is an app that we have been using across the district to keep communication open. It is difficult sometimes to keep in touch with parents, so we use Remind to send out automated messages to all parents, assuming they all have a phone number registered with us. They receive important announcements via Remind. We also send out a monthly calendar. We have social media accounts such as through Facebook and Instagram, that as well as our school website to keep parents informed. Some of the planned activities throughout the year that we have are the parent-led Dia de los Muertos altar that we're proud to announce is something that parents approached Mr. Moreno about. They would like to have that happening. He's excited to say yes to this. We've always had Dia de los Muertos altars put together by students and our teachers in the Spanish department, but this one will be led by the parents, which is exciting because it gives us another opportunity to involve our parents. Cafecitos, not only with counselors, with the principal, with SRO Vega, and other support staff on site, also opens up the doors of our school to bring in our parents. We have newcomer welcome that you heard about earlier, ER reclassification recognitions at our site, where we invite parents in to receive the recognition of their child being reclassified as no longer an English learner. School site council meetings, ELAC meetings, athletics. We have parent night. Last night we had the flag football senior night. Tonight, I believe we have the volleyball, or we just had it last week. I forget, I lose track of the timelines, but we've had tonight. Okay, there you go. So we've had several, and we have more coming up throughout the school year. Booster clubs so far for band and other athletic clubs. Back to school night and open house. Award ceremonies where we invite parents to witness their child receiving awards for honor roll and perfect attendance and so on. Senior spotlight to recognize those students that receive their scholarships and acceptance to university and so on. Parent picnics, banquets for sports, FFA and band, seal of biliteracy recognitions, math night, and avid night. So now we're gonna go on to show you a little bit about of that, what it looks like. Here's some pictures from current school year, as well as like the picnic pictures in the middle are from last school year, because we haven't yet had a parent picnic this year, but we will be having those not only for seniors, but across 9-12 coming up. So we have first reclassification of the year on the left, the parent picnics from the senior picnic last year. We have a law enforcement pinning ceremony earlier this school year. And then in the next slide, we have our cafecito with the counselors and their goodies and pastries they set up for them on the left side. And then we just had cafecito with SRO Vega on the 18th over here on your right. So we hope these slides grow. It's only October. We have a lot of opportunities, and we're excited to continue to open up our doors to our parents and then continue to invite them onto our campus. And that's all on this. Thank you.
And now a little construction update for our A4 modular building, which is just about complete. We look to, if you can see those two pictures there, that's the beautiful desert landscaping that's on the outside. And we're looking at this, the one on the right is one of the double wide trailers, or not double wide trailer, double wide classrooms. There's going to be 4 on the bottom, and then there's going to be 8 on the top. 8 single classrooms, and then 4 doubles on the bottom. Very nice architecture, kind of in line with what we have already in the English building and the math building. And of course the desert landscape, which is I like to see out there. The symmetry of the stairs and the shaded area of that walkway. And Measure Q. Right now, this is what it looks like, but eventually you're going to be seeing some action there, some laying of cement, some rebar, 2x4 studs, and just building from the ground up. These are not going to be prefabricated modulars. These are going to be brick and mortar. Right there in front of the Calexico Godfrey Gym, you're going to have the NPR. And then over here on the bottom right, you're going to have 2 STEM buildings pretty close in that area. And then over here, the one on the left, you're going to see the new administration 2-story building with counseling, discipline, and attendance, where all those student support services can be housed under one roof. And now we come to ASB. Mr. Martinez couldn't be here, but we have Aaliyah Hargrave, our president, and Samantha Chaides, who is also going to come up and say a few words on ASB. Let's hear it for the students. And Buster and Buster and Betsy, come on up.
Hey.
Good evening. My name is Aaliyah Hargrave, and I'm the Associated Student Body Executive Board President.
I'm Samantha Chaides, and I'm the Public Relations.
Being involved in ASB has greatly impacted my life by giving me different opportunities to develop my leadership skills, build strong relationships, and make a meaningful contribution to my school community. Through our efforts, we aim to promote school pride by organizing events that bring students together and creating a sense of unity. Our main goal is to foster an inclusive and supportive environment where every student feels valued, and to encourage active participation in school events and activities, strengthening both school spirit and community.
As you can see here in the pictures, there's some lunch activities. This helps us grow the community and engage one another. We always try to have a purpose, either by having a donut eating contest or signing the pledge to say no to drugs.
One of the main ways we are able to stay still connected with our student body is through our social media. Our main form of social media that we use to communicate is through our Instagram, where we post daily updates on sports, activities, or different events that clubs are hosting. Recently, we just had a pep rally that showcased our different video skits that each class was asked to create. And these different pep rallies help create school unity and participation. We also have our upcoming homecoming dance this Saturday, which our homecoming director and group has been working hard on planning and organizing, and we hope to see you all at the game tomorrow. All in all, our ASB works really hard to create new inclusive events for this upcoming school year, and yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, ASB. Get to the next one. There it is. That was just a little clip of the skits. Each class had to do a 3-4 minute skit video, and they presented it in the gym. And of course, the class of 2025 had the best one. Thank you very much. Are you guys leaving now? Yes. They have to go to the volleyball game? Okay, let's hear it for Buster and Betsy, Aaliyah and Samantha. Thank you very much. I want to call up our Bulldog athletic gentleman, Bobby Montejano and Luis Vasquez. And are you going to stay or are you going to come? Daniel's going to come up too.
All right. Good evening, board members, superintendent, and community. My name is Robert Montejano. I'm a triathlete here in Calexico High School. I've been given the privilege not just to talk today in front of everyone here, but to play for the program Calexico. Without a doubt, playing for Calexico is going to be a highlight that I cherish for the rest of my life. I've learned to be a leader, be competitive, and very ambitious. Not just that, but I've learned to be disciplined, a disciplined student athlete for a student. And my bad. I learned a lot through sports. I think the biggest lesson I've learned is how to get out of low situations by keeping my head high and just pushing through. Ultimately, I'm more grateful for having been able to learn these lifelong lessons that I can translate not just to school, but to my everyday life and future. I'm gonna pass it on to my teammate Luis.
I'm sorry, we're a little nervous, but good evening. My name is Luis Vasquez, and I'm a student athlete here at Calexico High School. First of all, I want to thank all of you guys because if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be allowed to play these sports and take part in the program. Through football, we have learned many things, including discipline, perseverance, and that through hard work we can achieve many things. It is all thanks to the program and to the school. We will learn these lessons, and we'll keep them for the rest of our lives. They will take high part in all of our successes and for the rest of our journey. I want to thank you guys very much. Thank you for listening.
Hello, my name is Daniel Escobar, and I'm going to keep it pretty short and simple and just talk about how sports help the community, the school, and students. So first I want to start off by saying how sports help the students with improving physical and mental health. Honestly, there's a lot of teammates that go through stuff, but with the team bonding and everything, they get through it or they get their minds off of it. With the for the school, it adds unity and school spirit, and honestly, that's something that CHS always brings to the games. Whether it's football, volleyball, we're all there to support our teammates and friends. And then for our community, I say it brings a sense of community together within the games. Everybody's together, and we're just having a good time. Thank you, guys.
Good evening, board members, Mr. Jimenez, your cabinet, members of the public, and Bulldog fans everywhere. It is my pleasure to be here tonight to share a little bit of our fall sports season, which is just about wrapping up. We have about 2 weeks left overall in fall sports, with playoffs commencing probably within the next 10 days for some of our sports. As you see on the screen there, we do have some current standings for you. Like Chris Berman on ESPN says, the fastest 2 minutes in the NFL, right? So currently our boys football stands at 4 wins and 4 losses. They do have a big game tomorrow night versus Southwest is our homecoming game. We cordially invite you all to come out and support our Bulldogs. Following that, we do have the Battle of the Border game the following week against Vincent. We will be in the CIF playoffs, possibly Division 4 or Division 5. That remains to be seen. Our seeding meeting will be the day after the Battle of the Border game. Probably in the afternoon, we will find out where we are placed and where we will play that first playoff game. It could be a home game. Our girls flag football, currently they stand at an 8-8, and I do believe that needs an update. They played Central and defeated Central yesterday. So I believe they are 7-4 in league. Third place, are ranked 19 in the entire CIF San Diego section, and we will likely be placed in the top 5 of Division 2 of the CIF playoffs. Again, we won't find out for another couple of weeks. Girls volleyball, big applause to them. They actually secured the Desert League Championship this year, so let's hear it for our girls volleyball team. They have finished the season at 19-3 and a perfect 9-0 in league. Currently, they are ranked 8th in CIF Division 4 playoffs. That seeding meeting should be taking place over the next week or two, and we will find out where our first match will be. It could be a home game. I think more likely will be home game since we are a league champion. Girls tennis finished the season 4-12 and 3-7 in league. They in league play they will have actually CIF finals concluded today at Central. We don't have full results yet. We should have those tomorrow. So be expecting an update on our girls tennis results for IVL finals. And thereafter, we will find out if we have any of our athletes competing at CIF. I think it's in 2 weeks. Girls cross country, top 3 in IVL standings with IVL finals in 2 weeks. That goes for the boys as well. Our girls team, cross country team, actually won the Palo Verde Invitational a few weeks ago. And for those of you who don't know, this is one of the squads that work the hardest to participate in the sport. Their sport is long distance running, 3 miles and longer, usually in the hottest part of the year. They get up early to work out at 5 a.m. and then still be in school. A lot of these kids are top-notch kids. Many of them take multiple AP classes. So kudos to them for their solid effort to represent their school. As we conclude the fall season, we will segue into winter season. It overlaps. Winter season will officially open November 2nd. Conditioning workouts are currently underway for boys and girls basketball, boys and girls soccer, boys and girls wrestling. This will be the busiest time of the year for our student athletes, with games virtually every day except Sundays. Tryouts will begin November 2nd and extend into the second week of November. And then we start what will be the busiest time of the year for our Bulldog athletes. And on the screen, you have a few snapshots of various events throughout the fall, with our student athletes representing the Bulldogs with pride and engaging our community. And again, we invite you all to participate in our games and come to our school and see our athletes in action. They welcome your support. Let's hear it. Go Bulldogs.
And if you can't make the game tomorrow or next Friday, you can catch it on VSN, from the Chocolate Mountains to the Sea of Cortez. And I'd like to end with a fight song. If all of us can sing, I've got the words up there. Are you ready, Aldo? Come on, Louis, you know the words. We'll never lose. Come on, clap, people. Let's go with me. Give a cheer from far and near for the glory of the garnet and the wild. One more time. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to provide our update for Calexico High School. If you have any questions, please submit them in writing.
Ain't no pity.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ain't no pity in Bulldog City.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Moreno. Thank you, our school administrators, to all of our staff, all of our teachers, all of our classified employees at Calexico High School. And of course, thank you the most, as wonderful and as awesome as our staff are. Our students are the awesomest. Is that a word? Is that, Ms. Tavares, is that a word? But thank you to our students because we're here because of you. And so thank you to our students and our families. And at this point, board members, if you'd like to make any comments.
Well, thank you for the presentation. You guys set the bar high. I know every year we go through this where the schools come and present, but you guys did an excellent job. You guys covered everything. Even with the scores and stuff like that, you guys do see the growth and stuff like that. I understand that at first there was some kickback from some of the teachers and stuff like that, and we're still going to see that. But I think years 4, which is we're in year 4, year 5, we actually see the full growth. Actually got lucky to attend an Orenda training, and Fallbrook High School, which is not too far away. They're one of the top ranked high schools right now, and they're actually doing the whole Orenda program. So it is something that works, and it's something that's validated. So, but other than that, I thank you. I thank the students for presenting here today. Also, Buster and Betsy for being here. But I was kind of upset because Buster wasn't in one of the pictures, but that's fine. We could get him in some other time. But other than that, thank you, parents. Thank you for joining us tonight, and great presentation.
Mr. Calero. I like. Okay, go ahead. All right. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. John, very good job. I mean, you covered, like Mr. Alvarado was saying, you covered all aspects of your school, which is good, and that's what we want to tell our community, what we're doing at the high school and trying to make a future for our kids. And thank you for everything, and thank the athletes and that came and talked. I mean, that speaks volumes of what you have there at the high school. And thank our community for joining us today. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Moreno, great job. I know it's hard with the building and the separation of the campus and the boards up, and you got to go all the way to lunch, and you got to get the lunch over here, but you guys are managing that. As always, there's always a way to connect with the kids because it's involvement. They're getting into it. Your activities are carrying on. Your ASB, nothing's changed. The school continues. Great job. Great job.
Yeah, thank you. Great work. I think that there's a couple of things that I wanted to point out. One is the PBIS program, because I know that, it increases the cognition and decision making of our students, to getting them to make a little bit better conscious decisions. And then also it improves our mental health of our students. And I think it's just looking at the numbers of participating teachers and staff in there on that. I think it's great. Once everybody's certified into that, I think it just brings us into an understanding of what our kids go through, and how we could help them to do better in school. And just kind of like we do with the sports, make it part of what we do with the school with our kids. And I think that will help us with our improving our attendance. And it looks good that we increased our number of students coming in, by 150. So, good work in that, and just keep up the great work. Now we're going to move to item number 2 and 3, employees awards. Mr. Jimenez.
Thank you, Trustee Contreras. And yes, sir, with your permission, Trustee Contreras, I'd like to combine presentations G2 and 3 together. And then also, we do have a special recognition that I'm going to make during my superintendent's report, and that is of an accomplishment of another student. So if I may, sir, I'd like to also bring J1A up during the student award presentations as well, so that we could get to them sooner rather than later on in the night.
Please do so.
Thank you very much. So board members, it is with my great honor that I present to you our Board of Trustees, our members here in the audience, and our members of our community, our Employee Excellence Award for Calexico High School. And today we have our Classified Employee Excellence Award and our Certificated Employee Excellence Award. And so when I call their names, while I read a little bit about them and who they are and share why they're such excellent, incredible, great employees, I'd like for them to be in the spotlight and to come up here to the front of the dais as this is being shared with their community. So if I could ask Mr. Enrique Palacio, our Classified Employee of Excellence Award, and Ms. Perla Rodriguez, our Certificated Employee Excellence Award. So we'll start with Mr. Palacio. Mr. Enrique Palacio's hard work is evident, and his positive relationship with our faculty and staff has always been the cornerstone of his position as site operations worker. He has been instrumental in working around the construction and the complexities of keeping the school clean and safe and orderly. He can be Herculean task to some, but it can be a Herculean task to some, but Mr. Palacio is always cooperative and finds the way to get things done on campus. His leadership with our daytime and nighttime crews creates a spirit of cooperation, and his outlook shows his commitment to education. He works well with both our Calexico Unified School District crew and maintenance and operations, as well as the contracted construction team at the new building site. We are lucky to have him at Calexico High School. Thank you, Mr. Perez. You know, John, I think I call you Mr. Calexico, and I thought that was Mr. Calexico. I thought that was the best title ever, but maybe Mr. Hercules is gonna it's gonna be bigger than that. It's gonna be bigger than that. Our next is Certificated Employee Excellence Award, Ms. Perla Rodriguez. Ms. Perla Rodriguez has established a relationship with her students that is beyond reproach. She has been instrumental in helping the math department move forward and looks at new ways to approach student achievement. Her leadership in the positive behavior interventions and support PBIS does not go unnoticed, and the way she prepares for every teaching day comes with a positive outlook which shows her commitment to education. Ms. Rodriguez works with our students in an inspiring and innovative way, and it is evident that she has created a lasting impression not only in the classroom but among her colleagues and the school community. She is a valued member of the Calexico High School team. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I present to you Ms. Perla Rodriguez and Mr. Enrique Palacio as our Employee of Excellence Award. So at this time, we're going to present our excellent employees with a few just small tokens of our appreciation for everything they do. Something that I'm very proud of, the Calexico pen, garnet and gold Calexico pen, an appreciation award in recognition of your invaluable service and commitment to Calexico High School students and staff, and La Historia de Calexico, both in Spanish and English, History of Calexico, autographed for you by the author Yolanda Sanchez Ogas. So thank you for all you do. Accept these, please, as a small token of our appreciation for all your hard work and commitment to our schools. Thank you, Board of Trustees. So, Trustee Contreras, at this point, moving on to presentations G4, I'd like to introduce to our community our Calexico High School Outstanding Student Award. And at this point, I'd like to ask Mr. Andre Cota and Ms. Paula Nicole if they could come up to the dais, please. And at this point, we're also going to have a special recognition that I was going to do during my superintendent's presentation. And I'd like to ask Ms. I have you right here. I'm so sorry. Ms. Stephanie Flores Arellano, if you could also come up. So we'll start with Ms. Paula Nicole. Ms. Paula Nicole Cruz is our Outstanding Student Award. Ms. Nicole Cruz is the heart and soul of our Calexico varsity flag football team. She demonstrates this by her leadership skills and performance in and outside of the field. There are many traits that defines her character as a student athlete at Calexico High School. Arriving here her sophomore year, she has adapted well, garnering A's and B's on her report card. As a self-motivator, she makes sure she gets her point and ideas across to all her teammates, making sure everyone is ready for the next play. After every down, Paula is already set for the next play and ready for action. She leads by example, making sure every play counts. She will never quit and will continue to strive to learn from her mistakes and step up when she is needed. On the field, she is the one of the toughest athletes one has seen on a football field. For the past 2 years, Paula has been putting up respectful numbers with 33 games under her belt, with 175 receptions, 2,553 yards, and 28 touchdowns. One can say Paula is one of the key components in Bulldogs' offensive arsenal. Paula is a coach's dream to have on one's team. She builds confidence with her presence, always asking for your best with no excuses. Her flag football IQ is a measuring stick everyone wishes they could have at her young age. I am very proud of her accomplishments, but most importantly, I am very proud she is a Calexico Bulldog. So Paula, if you'd like to come up to the front. Next, we have Mr. Andre Cota. So Mr. Andre Cota is an exemplary law enforcement student with a 4.0 GPA who consistently demonstrates motivation and dedication in his class. He is currently heading a team on a special assignment from the Chief of Police, focusing on the history of the Calexico Police Department. His enthusiasm and strong work ethic make him a pleasure to have in the classroom, and he continually sets a positive example for his peers. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Andre Cota. Today we have a special recognition as well of Ms. Stephanie Flores Arellano. Over the summer, Ms. Stephanie Flores Arellano was selected and participated in a 4-week intensive resident program at the University of California, Irvine. Stephanie participated in the Cluster 1, exploring the application of data science and the biomedical sciences at UC Irvine. Go Anteaters. Cosmos is an intensive 4-week summer residential pre-college program for high school students who have demonstrated an aptitude for academic and professional careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM subjects. Talented and motivated students completed grades 8 through 12 have the opportunity to work with renowned faculty, researchers, and scientists in the state-of-the-art facilities while exploring advanced STEM topics for far beyond the courses usually offered in California high schools. Cosmos fosters its students' interests, skills, and awareness of educational and career options in STEM fields through challenging curricula and are both hands-on and lab-intensive. So I'm very proud to share to our entire Calexico community how proud we are. Stephanie was the only student from Calexico Unified this year who was participated and represented us well at UC Irvine in this incredible program. So, ladies and gentlemen of our community, Board of Trustees, I present to you our Outstanding Student Award and our Special Recognition Award for you tonight. So, we're also going to present our students with the certificate of recognition, their pen, and a signed autograph book of La Historia de Calexico. Thank you, guys.
Do we have any AP scholars still here? AP scholars? Let's get a picture with the AP scholars too. AP scholars. We're gonna get one picture with AP scholars. These are the AP scholars with honors, distinction, and yes.
And I'd like to also share to our AP scholars and their parents that we will be bringing you back to a future board meeting later on in the school year to give you your well-earned and well-respected recognition that's being planned for a meeting in the second semester. So, but thank you for being here tonight and for being part of the presentation. But we will also be bringing you back at a future meeting as well. So you want to take a 5-minute break? Okay, so at this point, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. You're more than welcome to join us for the rest of the meeting, but you don't have to. We know that kids have to go to school tomorrow and parents, you have to go to work. So we do have coffee and pastries right outside in our lobby. Please help yourself for some coffee and pastries. And thank you for all that you do. Calexico High School staff, once again, thank you for the incredible. And I'd like to recognize the bulletin boards in the back. You guys did a beautiful job with the boards. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, we'll get restarted with our meeting. Letter H, comment from the public. The board will take any and all comments from the public related to any items of the agenda or any other item of the district business that is not in the agenda.
There are no comments.
No comments, thank you. I. Consent agenda. All items appearing will be acted upon by one motion without discussion unless any item is pulled from the for separate consideration or an action.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr.
Alvarado.
Second from Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. J, informational items. I think the superintendent's already done, so. Superintendent.
I do have just a couple very quick. I do want to give a brief update on last board meeting. I gave an update on A4, and I said that at the time we were waiting to receive some testing back on our flooring in order to move forward with the flooring. And I said we have a very high. We're optimistic that it's gonna pass, but I couldn't give a 100% answer to that. And I'm very happy to share that the testing passed, and we're moving forward with the flooring that I shared last week. And so that's some very positive news with that as well. I also want to recognize October 23 through October 31 as Red Ribbon Week. And as we all know, Red Ribbon Week started off as a Say No to Drugs campaign, but it's grown to be so much more than that, on making healthy choices in life, making positive choices in life, which includes saying no to drugs, but also making good decisions as our young people grow up and make something with their lives as well. So we also had this week, I would like to recognize Ms. Esmeralda Garcia and Ms. Erica Hermosillo, our After School Sparks director and coordinator. We had this week the Lights On After School, and they just absolutely hit it out of the park with an incredible event at the FRC. I wish everyone could have gone, but it is kind of like by invitation only type of event. But, you know, kids were able to enjoy from hot dogs and crushed ice, performance by our ballet after-school classes. The kids were showing the work that they've done with robotics and STEM and coding. We had a pumpkin patch. There was a photo booth. These pumpkins that you see up here in front of the dais were actually decorated by our students, and there was an exhibit of their artwork along with other signs and other artwork that they had done. I want to thank our Calexico Fire Department and our SRO Vega, our Calexico Police Department. They had their fire trucks there, their paramedic trucks there, their a police unit there, and kids always, when they see a big fire truck or paramedics, they were getting tours of inside of the trucks and the first responder vehicles. So thank you so much for that incredible event. And I did share with Ms. Hermosillo and Ms. Garcia that night. I said, you know, the only problem with this is that you guys started off really big, and next year's going to have to be bigger. But I didn't scare them, nor did I make them nervous. They said, oh, we're already thinking how we're going to make this even better and bigger next year. So I just really want to thank them for their hard work. And last but not least, you know, as I'm sitting here and watching all this take place and watching the presentation by our high school and all the work that takes place, something that I think we take for granted and we never give them their due credit and the due diligence is our AV operators that are always sitting in the back live streaming our meetings. the crew is either it's between Victor, Aldo, Alex, and Alberto, and they never fail us. They're always here. It's live streaming. It's recorded, and they make all this happen with their computers, with their mics, with the presentations, with the videos. And today they even added some applause over the speakers. So they're outdoing themselves now. But Trustee Contreras, Board of Trustees, that concludes my superintendent's report.
Thank you. Now on to item number 2, safety update by Mr. Jorge Hernandez, Director.
Thank you. And we have a quick, per the board's request, we do have a quick PowerPoint presentation to provide the board a safety update. And this, the board requested at our last meeting quarterly reports. So this is our first quarterly report of the school year. I don't think it's on. Jorge, is it on? Yeah.
Good evening, members of the board, colleagues, and public. We're going to provide a short summary of this year's activity in the safety department. We've been pretty busy, which is not always a good thing, but it's not always a bad thing either. We have a lot of proactive activity, and our mission objectives for this year. Our theme of this year is participation in your own rescue, meaning we're going to take a more proactive approach to emergency response, safety-related issues. I think training is very important in instilling the confidence in employees and staff and students alike. With the confidence and some training, we could go a long way. And this is just some of our key partnerships that we've worked with so far. A lot of the names are very familiar to you. Some are not. You're gonna notice MCAS Yuma. They offered their explosives dogs when we had a couple of incidents. We haven't had to use them yet, but they're always available if we call. The other ones are kind of known to you: FBI, San Diego Law Enforcement Coordination Center, District Attorney's Office. We have very good partnerships with our law enforcement brothers and sisters who are always standing by to assist us.
And if I could add to that, Officer Hernandez, I'm very proud of this slide right here because they really have proven their partnership with us. We have reached out to a number of these law enforcement partners, and they are almost immediately here with us in person. We have needed to call them because we needed to expand beyond our district resources or maybe even our local city resources. And some of these partners, including the FBI, including the Border Patrol, including the Sheriff's Department, including Probation Department, have sent their resources to help support us and keep our schools safe. So I want to really thank all of our partners in this endeavor and the work that they do.
And like Mr. Jimenez said, this is not an email, this is not a phone call, this is people showing up in boots on the ground type situations, and their expertise and assistance is invaluable, and we love those guys. Our key areas of focus this year: at the end of last year, I noticed an uptick in some activity that was concerning regarding gangs. Not so much gang activity on campus. However, we had a couple of players who were trying to recruit students after school, before school, off campus, and we're gonna address that issue with the we've discussed a variety of strategies with the junior highs, where I believe they were showing most of the activity was at Kiki Camarena. However, we're gonna cover emergency notification protocols. I noticed we were a little weak there as far as in progress. We just had something happen, the types of notifications that were happening or not happening, and they have to be very timely. If we're talking about a missing child, those moments are crucial in the beginning, and we cannot afford to drop the ball in any of those instances. We're gonna shore that up. Talked about the gangs, vape use. High schools have, and the junior highs have reported extensive use of vapes in the bathrooms before school, after school, obviously. So we even started some vape detection units, and now they are at both junior highs, including the high school and Aurora High School. Social media, we've talked about in the past. That's going to be a tricky one. That's educating the public, I believe, is going to be the majority of that issue, and that's just putting information out there, making people at ease that if something does happen, they do see something on social media, that we will investigate the matter. We just have to be made aware of it. Safety awareness, overall safety awareness, and again, training. It is very difficult to get a group of people who are not very safety minded or public safety oriented to get them interested in safety. It's not part of their world. But unfortunately, recent events, recent years, now it is part of their world, and we have to take it serious. And it is very hard to get a group of people and make them safety-minded. I believe it's something that has to be done one person at a time, and which we are willing to do if provided the opportunities. And we will have the opportunities to provide a variety of training I think is necessary, and hopefully we get more of a group buy-in or engagement from our staff. Radio systems we've had some issues recently where school sites are reporting an oversaturation, or they are unable to transmit. We just had, on the 16th, we just had the Great American Shakeout, or 17th, I'm sorry, and the radios were working fine when we used them at that time. However, we are having Airwave look at the problem and see where we can make some improvements. Training that I or SRO Vega have completed this year, a lot of them are, some of them are redundant, so I've only listed a couple. Whenever you see behavioral assessment, threat assessment, everyone I see that's local, that's free webinars, they're real good ones from the FBI, I attend them. But there's some other ones in there that aren't so run-of-the-mill. We had our alert training, which is 2-day intensive simunition, which is we are actually suited up in suits and shooting small projectiles at each other and practicing team movements, individual movements in the new building there. Very good training. Ex-military guys who were the instructors, very knowledgeable on clearing enclosed spaces of threats. We have bomb threat class. We've had word source technology classes, infrastructure liaison, active shooter, School Threat Assessments Conference, and enhancing school safety using threat assessments. And that's just, like I said, it's a small portion of the training, but it's pretty much all along the same lines as an active threat, active shooter type training. And Alert is out of Texas University. It was a very good course. Community outreach, we've done a variety in a variety of fields. Gang awareness for parents, how to recognize if your child is hanging out with gangs or using that type of verbiage, what to look at as far as clothing, anything written on their folders that's unusual. We've talked about internet safety at the Parent Summit. Personal safety classes, our second one is on the 30th. We're looking at about, I think we have about 20 people registered so far. Cafecitos with administration and the safety department went very well. Had a lot of people engaged with a lot of questions for the safety department. We've also put out informational bulletins, heat advisories. We're also members of the fentanyl opioid committee with the DA's office. We were recently part of the ROP Public Safety Promotion Board, myself and another officer from Calexico PD, Lieutenant Acuna. The kids and badges we're doing this year, it's gonna be big. Domestic violence awareness briefs, social media, safety bulletins, and fentanyl safety bulletins. Implementation of policies this year. We've had the comprehensive safety plans for each school site, which were turned in on time. We are in the midst of our Williams inspections, which I have one tomorrow morning at Cesar Chavez. And the required ones with ICOE are already done. The ones that are left are the ones that we do on our own, and we have to submit a report before December 1st. We created an SRO notification protocol, and that was a little rocky in the beginning, and the reason for that is we need to keep logs or track of all the calls that the SRO receives, whether she responds or not, if it's something that's actionable or not, we still need to track that data. And in order to do that, she has made herself very accessible, so a lot of teachers were just calling her on the cell phone, and we were missing that data. A lot of those calls were not getting recorded the way they were supposed to be. So now everyone's been instructed to call dispatch on the business line, unless it's an emergency, use 911, but on the business line so it could be recorded and the call is in a log, which we could access later on. Okay. The vape detectors, the Great American Shakeout went very well. Nobody had a problem. I was expecting a little issues with the use of the radio. No issues at all. Everybody was good. Perimeter checks. That's something I started on my own as soon as I got hired here. It took me a while. The last one was done in September. And that's just me walking out there, whether it's a weekend, whether it's in the morning. I basically walked the whole, if possible. Some schools, I was not, the rear fence is not like Aurora. It butts up against the residential area. I wasn't able to check from the outside the integrity of that fence line, but I did from the inside. I walked every campus looking for holes in fences, broken gates, any access points that we weren't aware of. And I'm glad to say our perimeters were very secure. and we're in the midst right now of Red Ribbon Week. I know I'm going really fast, however, I will provide you the opportunity for questions, trust me. Training-wise, in-house training, I've done training for the campus security officers, the proctors, the crossing guards, and we also provided a PBIS for SSA, classified employees. These are calls I've responded to. Now, don't be alarmed. What you read is how the call was dispatched or how the call was received. A missing child, a lost child. We have a variety of trespassing. We have batteries, psychological response. That was a child who was having an anxiety attack. However, it was so hot that day that they confused it with heat casualty. So I responded as an emergency and very happy to discover it was only an anxiety attack, not heat related. Threats, danger to self is an individual who, because of comments they've made or other evidence we believe might be a danger to themselves, and we assess that person. Disturbances can be anything from, and these are on and off campus. Some of them occurred off campus with our students, or vice versa, an adult arguing with one of our students. We had an adult verbally assault a young man at Blanche Charles, which was a little miscommunication. It was kind of a he said, she said. There was not a lot of evidence. However, I did conduct a home visit on that, on the adult. Online threats, gang activity, miscellaneous 911 calls. A variety of those, or 90% of those, are medical aids. Somebody fainted, somebody's feeling not well. I believe today there was 3 or 2? 4. We've had some major cases where I've had to, you notice up there, the home visit neglect, home visit sexual assault, and those were referred to CPS or the police department respectively. Unknown substance report, I get a call, a proctor found a little bag of some powder, okay? The last one we had was, it was pre-workout, that they just not take the container, they just throw it in the bag, and obviously looks very suspicious, and the proctor made a good call on that. Welfare checks. Now, some of these that I did not list are proactive things that I do, which I don't want to provide a lot of detail. However, every morning I pick a site and I show up a little bit before the bell rings. I'll watch traffic. I don't announce myself. I'm in my vehicle. I'll park. I'll watch traffic. I'll watch students going in. And every day is a new campus. And after school, I try to get mobile and hit the high school areas, which is our major issues with fights after school, the high school and the junior highs. I believe I covered everything on this.
Where's the graffiti at, officer?
Graffiti is a major problem. It's the perimeter of the high school is probably the main area, and the community center, which I noticed today was a lot cleaned up a lot better than what it has been in the past. That whole area there, the library, the community center, and the fence around the high school, and adjoining alleyways. We have identified one individual, and we're just gathering evidence right now. He's our major one, and we have to tie the person to the moniker that's spray painted, and that takes some time sometimes, especially with the juvenile.
And
so
if
we're
I-
working on that one.
And if I may, thank you, Mr. Hernandez, on the graffiti. I know that I think the city may be looking into this, but at the current moment, the city doesn't have a formal graffiti abatement program. So, a lot of cities don't have, a program where they even either do it in-house by city employees or they contract out by a company where residents can call and that graffiti will be removed. In Calexico, what we've done is when there's graffiti, of course, if there's graffiti inside our schools, that gets removed immediately. But oftentimes there's graffiti right next to our schools, not in our schools or at our schools.
It's on private property, somebody's fence line and so forth.
Right.
It's private property.
And it's right next to our school, right? That we don't want it there because that could bring more problems by it staying there, and it could stay there for months. So we have gone to property owners and we've asked them for their permission if we could paint over the graffiti and cover the graffiti, because leaving graffiti up, police work will tell you that it could bring more violence, it could bring more threats, it could bring more gang activity to that area. So if it's right next to our school, right in front of our schools, we try to remove it, even though it's not school property, because we don't want to risk the dangers that it could pose to us by its having right out there. So just yesterday, for example, Trustee Alvarado contacted me about a big wall, probably about 20 feet long, right in front of our Calexico High School. That's graffiti with big black lettering. It's gang writing. And so, of course, we got to get permission from the property owners first. But I don't think we've ever been turned down. As a matter of fact, they can't believe that as a school district, we're offering the service, and they'll accept the support and the help, and we cover it up to try to prevent dangerous activity taking place near or at our schools.
Yeah, it's the broken window concept where if there's a window broken and you don't fix it, the next window's going to be broken. After a while, there's going to be some graffiti, and they're going to start hanging out there, and it invites more of this same illicit activity, and it's always best to address it right away. On the ones that we have identified a potential suspect, we will be filing a criminal complaint with the DA's office. After that, identification has been confirmed. There was one more I wanted to mention here. Oh, the lockdown at Kiki. That was a call I received via Catapult on mass notification, and I heard on the police radio. It was almost simultaneous. I was in my vehicle. It took me like 2 minutes to get there. I'm not in an emergency vehicle anymore, so I got to make stop signs and I got to drive legally. However, I was there quickly. I located the intruders who had made some threats. It was a gang-related issue where these guys were coming from another school campus, waiting for an individual at Kiki. They recognized that at Kiki, and they made absolutely the right call on locking down. Thankfully, it was not anything more serious than that. We talked with the kids, sent them on their way after we ID'd them, and nothing happened that day. I don't think anything has happened since then. However, that's just, it was interesting how I received the phone call from Kiki, the notification on Catapult, and the radio call almost at the same time. I was trying to, and it was all related. Luckily, it was different incidents. I believe that was it on my activity. And this is the SRO's activities this year. A total 445 calls for service. Obviously, not all of them are represented here. Some of them are redundant or non-consequential flag downs, people asking for directions, citizens assist, get locked out of their cars. But we do have some good activity, a lot of proactive activity. She made 35 traffic stops, which is a lot. All around the high school area or school campus areas. And you can see the variety of calls that she's had: a couple DUIs, 3 DUIs, 15 batteries, and that's basically a successful assault on a person, a fight, somebody got hit. Welfare checks, it can be a lot of things. A kid not showing up to school, she does a welfare check at home to see if everything's okay, or something along those lines. Sex offenses, 6 reported. 14 fights, 6 missing persons, animal control calls, which would be like a loose, aggressive animal near the school. Vandalisms, brandishing of a weapon, which is basically exhibiting a weapon in a threatening manner. Pedestrian checks, meaning those are self-initiated contacts where she saw somebody that she decided to contact. Thefts. There was one homicide that she assisted, but it was on her stats, so I listed it. It was in no way related to the high school or any school. Disturbances were 10. School site checks, those are just her showing up at a campus and maybe talking with the principal, VP, asking them if everything's good. She did 11 of those this year so far.
And if I could add to that, Mr. Hernandez, so we've had conversations with SRO Vega because she is so accessible that people call her directly. So what you're seeing right here are calls to dispatch, not when they call her personally. So we're trying to figure out how we could record all the activity that she's involved with, all the work that she is doing, because this doesn't represent everything that she is doing, but still being accessible to our school community, to our administrators, to myself. So when it gets called through dispatch, not necessarily 911, just the regular business line, that gets recorded, and there's a log by the CPD that logs that call in. So if a principal says, we have a suspicious person right outside our campus, that gets called in, it gets reported to her, and she attends. But if the principal calls her directly and says we have a suspicious person right outside of the campus, that may or may not get logged in. So we want to try to log all her calls to record all the activity that she's involved with, but at the same time we don't want to stymie or reduce or not make her as accessible as she is, because sometimes she gets called in to give advice to students, help a parent who's having some difficulty with their child, who's being unruly at home, and she gets used for a lot of things that sometimes are not like criminal related or necessarily law enforcement related, but just her uniform, her command presence helps in certain situations. So we're trying to walk that fine line between, hey, report it to dispatch, but that we don't want to prevent people from having that, comfort level of calling her directly if they need to as well. So we're trying to figure.
And that's very common. I was the SRO for a few years. Very common that you're handling the call. A proctor walks up and says, hey, we got this over here, or you just go for one or the other, or somebody flags you down. Hey, I saw this guy, he looks suspicious over here. Those are very, very common. And from the 445, I would feel very comfortable adding another 220 that she's handled, not through the channel of dispatch. Just her driving by, somebody flagging her down, or she receives information that's right then and there, or something happens right in front of her while she's handling another call. Very common, very common. And I'm actually doing a disservice by limiting her activity to these documented cases. However, we did talk this morning, myself and Officer Vega, and we were brainstorming how do we capture all the calls. And the only thing I recommended was like old school status was a notebook and a pen, and you just log it down, and then later on in the day, you get in with dispatch and say, hey, at this time I responded here, and it's time consuming. However, that would be a way of making sure we capture all of her activity, because that tells us something. Hey, we only need one SRO, or we could use another one. It's useful information that we're missing there. However, these are only, like Mr. Jimenez said, these are the only documented calls for service through dispatch. I would feel very comfortable adding another 200 to that she's received outside channels. And I am worried also about, I'd like to emphasize that we don't want to inhibit her accessibility or her ability to handle these calls. I mean, she's handling them very well. I have yet to receive one complaint about her, which I love. She's a good worker, and if we could clone her, we would. Or science people or no?
Science.
Let's get on that for the next year. Good project. And that would conclude my presentation. It's brief. However, you'll see me again in 3 months with another one. Any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. Just one suggestion. I don't know if you already done it. You probably already done it. Reaching out to probation. I know before probation used to have probation officers assigned to school sites. That's something that I think would be valuable and stuff like that. Especially having somebody here as a resource, and especially if I mean we certainly have kids that are on probation that are attending our schools.
Absolutely.
And that would be something if we could open up something to them and let them know, hey, you know what? If you guys could provide a probation officer work something with them, reach out to them, and find out exactly what's going on. See if we could get somebody out here at least, you know, on a weekly basis, you know,
or just 2 days out of the week.
2 days out of the week, you know. That's one of those things that I think we're gonna have to start looking, because I know having another police officer is not gonna be, we're not gonna be able to do that at this time. But I think there's other resources that we could tap into to go ahead and make these school sites a lot safer for our students. And just like I said, just driving around and looking at some of the graffiti and stuff like that. I don't know if they painted over the electrical box that was here on the property also as well. It was tagged also as well. So with gang writing, so that's one of those things also as well that, I mean, even, you know, just being more observant and reporting the stuff in, I think would help out. But other than that, thanks.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. My comment is, I attended Mr. Hernandez's safety meeting not too long ago, along with many of our staff from the district. And I hope, Mr. Hernandez, that this continues, because you had all our staff engaged. There was a lot of questions, and Mr. Hernandez was answering the questions. And if he didn't know, he would say, I would get back to you. And good. I hope that these trainings continue, because like you say, it's hard to train someone that's not safety oriented. But if we continue with these trainings, I think we can get there.
That's the plan.
And thank you for your service, and thank you for your dedication
too.
I'd like to just highlight as well that his women's self-defense classes are becoming very popular, and I think I didn't hear one person who wasn't excited having that attended that his first class. I know he's scheduling a second class, and they absolutely appreciated learning some of the strategies that he was teaching in these classes.
It's my pleasure. I enjoy it, and like I said, it helps towards making people more safety conscious, and hopefully it spreads a little bit, and because that's really our eyes and ears out there is the public. See something, say something. Very crucial that we have people on the same page. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 3, board reports. These are informational items, reports by board members. No action is taken. Mr. Alvarado.
Well, once again, thank you for joining us here tonight. I just want to give a thanks to Calexico High School for presenting tonight. Great job for our students that also participated. Amazing job. I know it's not easy not talking in front of the public. It's something that's hard. But That was great. And the recognitions also for our students. That speaks volumes also in itself. Last but not least, I was privy to join, go to Biztown with my daughter. I know Margarita, Ms. Magallanes went prior to when I did, but that's something I think that we need to open it up to other school sites, try to get them involved, because I think that's something that's vital for our kids. I also went to astronomy night at Rockwood. It was awesome. And also I got to attend the Sparks program on Monday night, if I'm not mistaken. And that was very well attended. And last but not least, in regards to Sparks, I know I mentioned it in the past. If we could have some type of survey for our workers, like some type of, if they're going off to get another position or whatever, have like some type of exit reason why they're leaving or whatever, a survey just to find out exactly what's going on with the program also as well. That would be great. And that, thank you for joining us.
Mr. Calderon.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you again for joining us. I also attended several of the activities we had. I mean, first of all, and I want to thank all you ladies. I know John's good, but you guys are better. You make John. No, I'm just no. My wife always reminds me of that. It says, but again, thank you for showcasing Calexico. I think we need to let the public know what we're doing, and hopefully we can be successful in educating our kids. Like Mr. Alvarado was saying, I also attended the astronomy night. I'd like to thank Ms. Fuller for hosting it, and also Ms. Montaño for getting our kids, like, let's get them to the stars, And I think, what was that, Moonshot?
Moonshot.
Yeah, that was the word of the last board meeting. So thank you, Ms. Montaño, and thank you, Ms. Fuller, while she's not here. Also, Sparks just kicked it out of that was a good event, and I hope that next year we continue. And like you said, they already set the mark, so it's going to have to be a little bigger next time. And better. Yeah, there was people trying to get in, but they didn't have a slip to get in. So now I don't know what we're going to do. I think we're going to have to open it up to our public or something. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Very brief, a good presentation overall, exciting. There's a big trailer trash at Dual that's been there for about 6 months, and I asked Mr. Oveso, what's it doing here? He says, it's been here since the summer, and he says, we should move it out because it's on the basketball court and the kids can't really use the court because it's there. Other than that, homecoming is tomorrow. I hope these kids finish those there's floats, but they were just starting to tag on the stuff, but they're going to work all night, I think, because homecoming is tomorrow. So these guys are going to be busy tonight. So let's wish the team luck and have a great homecoming against, I think it's Southwest. Yeah, so hope for a victory.
Thank you. And I just want to thank the high school for their presentation, and the officer for his presentation. I think, it just kind of keeps us going into what we're doing for the students, what we're doing at the schools, taking a look at the safety, taking a look at all the improvements and things like that. And, that's always a good thing to know that, right from the get going, we're doing an excellent job this time around. Thank you. We're going to move to K, action items, consideration and action approval for the following items. Number 1, ratification of CSEA tentative agreement salary schedule and AB 1200, disclosure of proposal collective bargaining agreement with California School Employees Association, CSEA, Chapter 399 for fiscal year 2024-2025.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Calderon, second by Mr. Pacheco. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Item number 2, approval of classified confidential salary schedule increase for fiscal year 2024-2025 to match with CSEA tentative agreement salary schedule increase.
So Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Number 3, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and IXL Learning for student math support for Enrique Camarena Junior High School students.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Please say aye. Motion passes 4-0. Item number 4, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and Ed Puzzle of online license to support the design lesson in course subject at Enrique Camarena Junior High School.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pacheco, second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Number 5, agreement between Calexico Unified School District and the Community Engagement Initiative, Peer Leading and Learning Network, Cohort 4, Cohort 5, and Marin County Office of Education for the 2024-2025 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Question, how's that gonna work, Mr. Jimenez? Who's in the process, who's in the program, who's being selected, and who's going where?
So this is a different grant that we applied for and received last year. This is not part of the $5.7 million community schools grant. This is a $70,000 a year for 2 year, $140,000 community schools grant. And in this grant specifically, we're using it for Jefferson Elementary School.
Everybody,
For Jefferson Elementary
Yeah.
School.
all
Yes.
the site, all the members of, all the teaching staff will be involved in this?
Right. Well, yes, as part of the plan of how we're going to use this money, what we're going to do with it, of course, within the parameters and the criteria of what the grant is for. Similar to community schools, but it's not part of that initiative. It's a different program.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Calderon, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes 4-0. Item number 6. Agreement renewal between Calexico Unified School District and ACTA Cooperative Discovery Community Leadership for supplemental materials for AP courses at Calexico High School.
So
Move for-
moved.
Second that motion. Motion by Mr. Calderon, second by myself, Contreras. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, 4-0, motion passes. Number 7, agreement renewal between Calexico Unified School District and Quizzes Incorporated for license subscription for dual elementary school. Move for approval.
Second.
I made the motion, Contreras, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Item number 8, agreement renewal between Calexico Unified School District and Eleuterio Lopez for bus driving recertification training.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pacheco, second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Number 9, agreement renewal between Calexico Unified School District and San Diego State University for student teaching for 2024 to 2029 school year.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Calderon, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Item number 10, approval of revised course at Calexico High School yearbook publications. Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Calderon, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0.
There was a question by trustee President Magallanes, and just to put it on the record, if I may, Trustee
Sure.
Contreras ask Ms. Tavares if she could Tovar, if she could give a brief description of what we're doing with this item right here.
Good evening again. Can you guys hear me? Okay. So, as you all know, we've always had a yearbook class at Calexico High School, but this is an update to the course in more than one way. So it is now going to be an A through G approved course, which means students that take this class will not only get elective credit, they will be getting fine arts credit because it is now an UC approved A through G course under fine arts, which is exciting news, right, for students that are intending to apply to a UC university. We can grant now credit to those students because now we have Ms. Joanna Sesma teaching this course. She's new to the course this year, and she has a lot of different ideas as to how to approach the course. With the alignment now under fine arts, she intends to shift the focus and really highlight the development of skills in photography, and more than anything, just the area of digital content creation, because we want to get with the times, right? We want to stay with what is current and what the skills are that our students need in order to succeed beyond high school. There's a huge push for students to develop those skills in digital media creation and digital media content. A lot of opportunities for them in that area. And earlier, Board Member Calderon mentioned the importance of continuing to highlight and showcase what is happening at our school. That is an area that we feel a need to have the opportunity to highlight that. And so Ms. Esma has so many projects for her students to be in charge of our social media accounts and continuing to go out there and create beautiful digital content in order to continue to highlight what is happening at CHS.
And I'm so proud. I'm just so happy with our Calexico High School staff for taking the initiative. This wasn't directed by me or by the district office. This wasn't imposed on them. They took the initiative to see a need and to say, look, we're offering this class that's just right now only serves as an elective for elective credit, but if we make these modifications to it, it'll also serve as a through G compliance coursework. And so, and I know that, in talking with Ms. Tovar and what their plans are and their goals for this class is going to be, I know it's going to bring a lot of new and exciting work in this area at Calexico High School. So I'm very excited of what this is going to bring to us, and we'll be able to start seeing that in the near future.
So in closure, you will see a beautiful product at the end of the year, but you'll also see the work that students will be creating throughout the year, and we won't have to wait until the very end to see that. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. We'll move to item number 11. Recognition of Booster Club, Calexico High School Parents Band Booster Club for fiscal year 2024-2025.
So moved. Second.
Who did the motion? Motion by Mr. Calderon, second by Mr. Pacheco. All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. Motion passes. Item number 12, authorization to seek proposal for E-rated services for the 2025-2026 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Item number 13, second reading of revised board policy 3515.2, disruption.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Number 14, second reading revised board policy 5131.4, student disturbances.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Item number 15, reading of revised board policy 1250, visitors and outsiders.
So, second.
Motion by Mr. Pacheco, second by Mr. Calderon. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Item number 16, resolution. Resolution declaring the futility of binding for site preparation for installation of the greenhouse structure and related equipment.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Calderon. Mr. Alvarado?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Pacheco?
Yes.
I will vote yes, 4-0. Number 17, resolution regarding disposition of surplus assets, not assets, office furniture at the Family Resource Center.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Calderon, second by Mr. Alvarado. Mr. Alvarado?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Calderon? Mr. Pacheco?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. Motion passes 4-0. Item number 18, resolution regarding disposition of surplus asset, non-asset technology, equipment, and at the Family Resource Center.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Alvarado, second by Mr. Calderon. Mr. Alvarado?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon?
Yes.
Mr. Pacheco?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. Motion passes 4-0. Item number 19, resolution regarding disposition of surplus assets, non-assets, food service equipment at William Moreno Junior High School.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pacheco, second by Mr. Calderon. Mr. Alvarado?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Calderon? Mr. Pacheco?
Yes.
And I will vote yes, 4-0, motion passes. Resolution regarding disposition of surplus asset, non-asset technology, equipment at Blank Charles
So
Elementary School.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Calderon, second by Mr. Alvarado. Mr. Alvarado?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Calderon? Mr. Pacheco?
Yes.
And I will vote yes, motion passes 4-0. We'll reconvene to an earlier closed session, and we'll be back at 9 p.m.
Taking charge there, Mr.
I saw that, Mr. Contreras. I saw that.
Football game? Who's playing? Who's playing? We're out of here.